that I actually buy and flip.
Okay.
I got what, 3 properties here that I'm working on currently.
Okay.
So once I'm done with that, I'm really gonna scale it up and try to do. My goal is to be able to buy 5 properties a month and sell maybe 3 to 4.
Okay.
Hold on, let me turn this YouTube off.
All right. Hey, when you get a chance, I invited Elise to come join us for the party.
Oh.
Could we get her on as a panelist too?
Sure. Give me 1 second. Let me add. Here we go. Yeah, typically on the webinars, like people coming in, you know, the first like 5 minutes, a lot of people don't come in. But what I usually do is I broadcast it to YouTube since I have almost 2,000 subscribers, and
sure.
that allow me to. In fact, I might just let me see. I don't know if they'll let me broadcast.
Hi, Elise.
Hi, guys.
I love your new plant. Is that new?
Yes, straight from IKEA.
Awesome. You're lucky because they closed down IKEA where I'm at. We went over there to go buy a desk and it was shut down.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure ours might be too, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Let me check my YouTube real quick because I'm gonna probably read off some comments on YouTube too as well.
Cool. Laura went to go get lime juice so we can have margaritas after this.
The great thing about social distancing and being inside.
Margaritas.
Well, just that you can just stay at home and there's just your answer. I can stay at home and drink margaritas. Who knows what's in this mug? Actually, my mug does say wine is bottled poetry, but there's wine in here.
Oh, I like that. That's very poetic.
Yeah, so we good to go. We got about a good
social distancing.
So far 10 people on YouTube. I'm gonna share this YouTube stream to Facebook.
Okay.
David, how is George doing?
He was supposed to get neutered today. My cat, everyone. And he actually did not get neutered today.
Aw. I mean, that's fine, but
so they detected a heart murmur.
Oh.
And so they didn't want to put him under with that medication until he gets checked out by a cat cardiologist. It's getting real fancy. You know, and it's like, it's an elective surgery anyway. So I said, like, let's just not do it at all today. And I'll decide later if we need to go that far.
Oh, poor Georgie.
Yeah, he got microchipped though. So now you can scan him and he can find his way back home. Whoa. Looks like you scratch.
Oh, yeah, Ella.
Okay, let's share it to one more place and I'm good to go.
I love it. You're hitting up all the platforms.
Yeah, you know, most people now, the issue is I was the first guy really doing this Facebook Live stuff. Now the coronavirus doesn't allow people to discover the power of Facebook Live. So it's kind of watered down right now, Facebook Live. But I noticed even on my YouTube Live, a lot of people, they go back and watch it because it's so much content they can consume right now.
For sure.
I definitely want everybody to see this whole new Chrome app you built for like virtual driving for dollars, especially since people staying home. So that's why I really wanted you on. So people can see the benefit of that and how they can still take advantage of driving for dollars even though they quarantine us out of the house.
100%. And Elise has been teaching people all week. So she's actually taught me a few things I didn't even know about it.
Really?
Awesome.
Yeah, the split screen.
Oh.
Came from one of your lives. I saw somebody post about it.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. We actually had on Wednesday, I had people drive with me because everyone's just like so crazy busy in the fact of not knowing what to do with themselves every day. So it's like we set aside time, an hour on Wednesday to drive. And I thought that was really good because it like brought a community of people together to like, we're not going out driving, but we're virtually driving. You learn a lot about Google Maps too. I just got to say that is harder to drive than an actual car.
I agree, because sometimes they put you right in the alley. You ain't supposed to even be in the alley.
I know. Well, and I'll click on a house to try to add it, and I'll go straight through the house to the other street. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, there's some quirks.
But it's all, I've now learned like how to kind of maneuver a little bit better.
I'm going to introduce you guys formally, and then you guys can take it from me.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? This is Antoine Campbell, as you know. This is my guy, David Lecco, and Elise, right? That's how you say her name?
Yes.
She works with David. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Deal Machine and a new, what is that, a Chrome extension?
Exactly. Yeah,
so
virtual
the
driving
new Chrome extension, we're going to show you a cutting-edge strategy, how you can desktop drive for dollars. That's what I guess I call it. So take it from there, David.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you. Well, the whole idea came about 3 weeks or 4 weeks before the coronavirus. One of Brent Daniels' team members, their Deal Machine members, and they got a $50,000 deal. They paid a VA $4 an hour on Upwork to just cruise on Google Street View. And so I was like, oh man, you're already doing this and you got a deal. I had this idea from that to make a Chrome extension so you could go through Google Maps and just click through that Street View. And then when you see a rundown house, they were actually like having Deal Machine up on a second tab. Right. And I was just like, we can get it in there straight from the Chrome extensions. You don't have to do that with 2 tabs. And that's evolved from there. So you can do a whole lot more with it as well. But maybe I should share my screen real quick.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. So the first thing that you want to do when you have this thing, and I'll show you how to get it after the demonstration, is go to Google Maps just like you normally would. It's just maps.google.com, and then pick a street. There's a yellow map man down here, and you want to drop him on a street, and that's going to put you in the street view so you can see houses. And from there, you just want to drive around and look for a rundown house. Now, this one over here on the corner looks a little bit questionable. So I'm going to go ahead and just add that. And the way I'm going to do that is try to get as close as possible. There we go. I'm looking at it, 1645. Now you need to verify this. So you click the pin right there. And I don't think that's the exact house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click a few more pins and see which one I was looking at. Okay, there it is. It's actually 1646. So you're looking at these pictures to make sure it matches what you saw. So now you can use this Deal Machine Chrome extension to add this to your Deal Machine account on the fly. And then right here in Google Maps, you can tell it was owned by Ronald Crabtree, and that it was most recently sold in 2002. And so you can actually add mailers here if you want to. And you can also get their phone number. Couldn't find any on that guy, but you could actually get their phone number to call them from there as well. And so the really great thing about this is you can do it yourself. And you'll get the hang of the Google Maps, as we said. And then you could also very cost effectively have somebody do this for $4 an hour.
Yeah, so because I own my own VA staffing agency, so something like this would definitely benefit a lot of the clients that I work with. On fire, it's like showing them that, hey, even though maybe you don't have any deal finders right now, you can use the VA technically as a deal finder for $4 an hour.
100%. And they don't have to leave their home because we're in lockdown in a lot of states.
Right.
So I'd be curious if Elise, you could tell me, like, what are some places where people get stuck that you've come across this past week?
So number one probably is the pinning that you were just doing. So you were in front of the house that you actually added, but it adds the house opposite or behind you. And so then you're like freaking out. And I think the biggest thing that's a confusion is if like just because that red pin is on there, if you pin the house like David did, it's going to pick up that address that you actually pin. And I think that can be confusing because the red one looks like this should be the house I'm adding, but you can tap to look to see which house. I think it's very important to make sure you're adding the correct house. Also, duplexes, multifamily homes are a little bit trickier to add on Google Maps because usually like get a duplex, it has 2 addresses. So it may pick up one address and it's not actually under that address, it's under the other address for the owner's information. So what you have to do is if it says owner lookup, don't just give up. Click on like the other side of the house and it'll pull the other address up that you can look up. That's oh, David, you dropped in front of a good one right there.
Yeah, jackpot. Yeah, okay, so here, when I snap back to the map view, it actually showed me the house next door, and I can tell that by this picture right here. So that's when you'd want to zoom in a bit.
Yeah, zooming in is huge.
There you go.
Also, another thing, some people don't know where they should be driving because they look at the map and they're kind of overwhelmed. One thing that I've been telling people to do is going on your actual Deal Machine account and zooming out a little bit with the highlighting feature. If you're looking for absentee owners, figure out where there's a mass population of those houses and then go and start at that street and just go down it, because you're going to want to see going down that street as you're driving, are those distressed properties? Are those ones, because you know they're absentee, but just to make sure. And to kind of go along with that, when you're driving on the street, and David, you can kind of show them this, when you're driving, you're wondering, well, how old is this picture? When was the last time they took this picture? At the bottom right, it says image captured. I think yours says, I can't see it because you covered
August 2019 down here.
Right. So that tells you that it's literally, months. It's not even a full year old yet. So this data is pretty accurate. So you can kind of go and start driving through this. Now, what David was talking about earlier is I was driving the other day, and I was like, crap, I don't know where I'm at right now, where I'm driving. So on the bottom left, there's a map, a little tiny map, and you can enlarge it and it'll split screen. So that way you can watch what street you're actually on and where you should be like turning next. Did I already go down this street?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and you can move it up and down. So I personally, the map gets me distracted. So I move it down a little bit and I zoom in. So that way I know like, oh, I already hit that street behind. I'm going to want to turn this way, or so on and so forth.
So even for me, like an investor, like a lot of investors, they know certain places by the neighborhoods. That in the cities, they have different neighborhoods. Like in DC, we have like Brightwood and Petworth, all these different neighborhoods that basically says it's a different, smaller subdivision within the city. So like, even though on the map I'm looking at, this says a Bates Hendricks. So like, a lot of people don't know that when you're doing these deals, these neighborhoods can kind of dictate the price points. So like, you can be in Bates Hendricks and then step across the street and be in a whole totally different neighborhood, and the houses be worth $20,000-$30,000 less or more.
Yeah.
So I think that that's very important that most investors take the time to learn these little sub neighborhoods within. And Google do a good job of highlighting and showing which neighborhood is which.
Oh yeah, for sure. So for example, let's try. You can see how it's highlighted. The border is the highway, and then it draws like a shape down into the right.
Right.
And I've told people that's how, when they're wondering where to send their drivers, just find those areas. Like you said, Google does a great job, like telling you what these areas are called. Do a little research on them if you don't know, and then just say, hey, start on, New Jersey Street and work your way like east. And then that way they know that their drivers in that zip code or in that area. And you can type in zip codes and have your drivers be focusing on those as well.
Right, that's good. That's good to know.
It's actually kind of fun. It's like your own little video game if you really think about it.
Yeah, so even me, like, right, like I'm trying to open up a new market called Toledo, Ohio. I haven't been there personally, but we're focusing on multifamily this time. Like we want to, focus on, between 5 to 10 unit buildings. So like something like this would make sense to get to hire VA at $4 an hour to say, hey, go through there and apartments. They look a little distressed. They look a lot of deferred maintenance. Slum laws is not really upkeeping them. Air conditioners in the window. People stand outside in the front. Um, this is something that would be perfect because now I don't have to go out there and do my due diligence just yet. But when I get some properties under my radar, I literally can say, okay, I can justify buying a plane ticket and actually go out there and really check it out.
Yeah. And to your point of hiring somebody for $4 an hour, we've got some resources for you to do that. So you've got to have a job description and you've got to know where to post that. And then you've got to have a set of instructions to give to them. That way they will follow the instructions. And so we've actually put together a 10-step checklist that goes over that I wanted to share with everyone.
Sure. Let's go over that.
Let's see that.
By the way, I'm also really excited you're going into Toledo. That's cool. It's a market that hasn't really been tapped too much, but it's really hot.
Yeah. It came on my radar. I literally pulled the list. I skip traced it through my own skip tracing company, and I literally have the VA about the SMS blast it. But I would love to actually just, maybe myself sit on the desktop one day and just drive for dollars to see what apartments I can come across, and then simultaneously call and get a feel for the subdivisions like we just went over. Like, okay, this apartment complex is in this prestigious neighborhood, so I know that it's going to sell for a higher price. Oh, this neighborhood is drug infested. Maybe I might not offer, or maybe I offer a lower price, given that I have this information right in front of me.
Yeah, that's exciting. I can sit in front of a TV show that you've watched a million times and just do this. I even told people, have your kids play it. They love video games. Like, have them look for a house that has a AC unit in it, and there you go, add it.
Well, Toledo is not that far from where we live, is it?
No, it's only maybe three hours away, maybe.
That's
2.
not bad. I think I looked it up. It's a 6.5 hour drive for me from Maryland to there. I drive all the time. I can drive to go see Max. That's a 5.5 hour drive. So like, I don't mind driving. I don't mind taking a risk. If I can make money, I'm gonna go.
I like that
determination.
Yeah.
Well, let me just give you a brief overview of this checklist and how it can help you. So basically, you can download this from us, and we'll make sure we share the link. You can use this virtual driving for dollars checklist to capture the worst looking houses in your area from the comfort of your home. And you can give this to your virtual assistant or street team so you don't have to teach them what to do. Right. And so the first step is actually, if you don't have a virtual assistant or street team, you can go hire a virtual assistant for $4 an hour. The website I like to use is onlinejobs.ph, which stands for Philippines. And a lot of them are used to working for $3 an hour. So if you pay them $4 or even $5, like, they're going to stick with you forever and they're not going anywhere. And they're wonderful people. And this should generate about 100 plus applicants overnight. Now, you said you had VAs. You have a VA company?
Yeah, I have a VA company. We're a staffing company.
What am I saying this for? We need to tell them about your VA company.
Yeah, so I have a VA company. We helped over 300 clients so far.
Yay!
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a different business model. So we actually a training and recruitment company. We'll go through all the applications for you. We'll find the best talent possible, and then we'll train them up. I have an in-house trainer. I have a recruitment manager. I have an onboarding specialist. I have a sales manager. So we'll walk you from the beginning to the end. And then even after you hire your VA, we have ongoing training that you can come on once a week call. And as well as we have a 6-month warranty on our VAs, because people don't know this, but VAs,
oh my gosh, that's
turnover.
Amazing.
So if you have any issues like with our VAs, we'll give you a replacement VA as long as you can justify you was doing what you're supposed to do, you was documenting everything, and that VA maybe just haven't worked out, we'll replace that VA.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's a time
saver.
There's a whole hiring process you can just skip over. And if you're using that VA company, what's it called?
It's called VA Mastery, right? If you Google it, VAMasterySystem.com, we got an entire website, an entire process. VAMasterySystem.com. That's the course. And then the actual website is right there. It says the #1 platform for VAs.
No.
With an S. Yeah, right here. You see VA. You see VAMasterySystem.com right there.
Yes.
So if you click on our services, we do a array of things. If you go down, let's see. Yeah, so we do VA cross training, which means if you already have a VA, we can step in and help train a VA up to our standard. We have the #1 product we sell is flat rate VA, which we said pay us a fee of $500 up front, and we'll find you the best VA possible. And within that fee, that's how we get paid, and you'll be locked into the wholesale rate of $4 an hour. Instead of dealing with a call center who's going to charge you $8 or $10 an hour, you get that wholesale rate of $4 an hour. And the beautiful thing about it, we'll give you everything you need to manage your VA. And the reason why I didn't want to set up a call center is because I want the clients to be confident that no one's taking their leads, no one's stealing their data, because you're responsible for your VAs 100%. And then we have a course called VA Mastery that blew up, that went viral.
Really?
It basically teaches you how to manage yourself in order to manage the VA. They show you all the different processes you need to have in place, and team meetings, and all the crazy stuff that no one talks about that comes with governing a VA. Then we do employee evaluations. So say, for example, you maybe have a team of VAs, or you have a call center that you hire. We'll evaluate them and let you know what we think about moving forward with them or not.
Wow.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know this. So so people could use this to do virtual driving for dollars.
Yeah.
Okay. Love that. Let me go through some of the bullet points after hiring and all that process. We'll start with number 5. So you want to have them download the Chrome extension and add properties. And this has a link to the Chrome extension. You guys can also go to the Chrome store or just dealmachine.com/Chrome. I'll go over there real quick. And it's going to link to the app in the Chrome store. They're going to get a video here that's going to show them how to use it real quickly. And all they have to do is add to Chrome, and then they've got it on their browser. You do have to have them as a member of your Deal Machine account. So use that Deal Finder slot that you get with every single account and add your VA there. And then they can log into the Chrome extension, and those properties will get added to your Deal Machine account. So why don't I just show them how to do that in case you guys don't know.
You can add people from the web, the website.
Oh yeah, the Deal Machine website has everything that the mobile app does.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, even more actually, because you can export stuff from the actual website. But yeah, go over to your team button and then click invite. And then when you find your VA, you want to enter their email in right here. They'll get instructions on how to log in, and then they should get the Chrome extension right over here. All right, so step 6 is give them an area to look for properties. We just talked about that. When you go into Google Maps, you could type in a neighborhood name. Fountain Square, Indianapolis, and they can type that in, and Google is going to show them exactly where that neighborhood is. Now, what's interesting is it didn't highlight the neighborhood like it did last time. Did I do something wrong?
No, I think you did it right. I don't know why it didn't.
Let's try it with a different neighborhood. Oh, it did it that time.
Google, what's up?
I think it should do this. I think it's a fluke that it didn't work that one neighborhood, because it's doing it on this one too. All right, so select an area where to go. And if you don't know where to go, what I always suggest is go to a meetup and ask, but you can't do that now because we're on lockdown. So maybe go in a Facebook group and ask where people are buying. Or do you have any tricks on where you find places to drive?
Say for example, if I want to go to Toledo, Ohio, we use this software called Sweet Spot Locator. And you just type in Toledo, Ohio, and then it generates a report of what zip codes you can wholesale in, what zip codes you can rehab in, and what zip codes to avoid. So we'll take that zip code and we'll just type it in over in Google Maps, and it'll probably populate just like it shows on the map, and we'll just focus on the zip codes we can wholesale in.
Interesting. Okay. Really good tip there. The next one is make sure they watch the instructional videos. That's done for you. Give them an area to look for. And then 7 is set key performance indicators. So I think this is barely scratching the surface of what your VA mastery class was talking about, Antoine. It's like you've got to have a system for them to be productive and for you to make sure that they're doing the work that you need them to do. And so that's what I was getting at here by setting key performance indicators. Have them email you at the beginning and end of each day, like what their goal is and if they accomplish it at the end. The goal should be at least 20 properties per hour is what I put. Do you want to go into any more detail about any other, key things that they might need to know if they're going to manage a VA?
Yeah, definitely. You need a tracking software, something that can track and making sure they're actually doing the work. They're just not sitting there sleep, blowing Z's out their mouth. So use like a hub staff. And the beautiful thing about hub staff is it takes screenshots so they monitor every so often. So if they're supposed to be driving for dollars virtually, you can go in there right now and see screenshots of them actually driving for dollars. Now, if you go into their hub staff and you see screenshots of a spreadsheet, then you know for a fact that they're not working for you, they're working for someone else. And that's when you get some type of disciplinary measures in place. So we call people working for other people so many times, and we tell our clients to constantly monitor the VAs and be available and accessible so they can be on their toes. If they feel like they're not on their toes, then they're just going to take advantage of you.
Now, do they have to install something to use Hub Staff?
Yeah, so it's pretty much a time tracking software, but for us on our back end, it's like a bug. Like it just shows what websites they've been on, how many keys they stroke per hour.
Okay.
But the productivity level of the computer, and it tracks all that good stuff.
Wow, really good tip. I haven't used that before.
Yeah, it's awesome. HubStaff is awesome.
Okay, the next thing I have is number 8, follow up with your leads via direct mail immediately within the app. Make sure you have the street pick. I see there's a 9 in there. I didn't see that before. Make sure you have the street pick add-on within Deal Machine enabled, because as you're adding those properties, when they populate into your Deal Machine account, the street pick add-on will automatically populate those. So these right here will be populated with pictures, just like these are down here when you have that street pick enabled. And so that's in the settings that you can do that. And 9 was call your leads. Do you do cold calling, Antoine?
Definitely. That's the bread and butter, cold calling.
Awesome. So my number 9 was also to make those calls during the day, anytime that the sun is up. And then I just gave like a really quick example of an opening line is just really simple because some people just don't know what to say, and so they don't make the call. Hi, is this David? And then they're like, yeah. And then you say, hi, my name is, Antoine, and I'm calling about property address. Do you own it? And they'll say yes or no. And if they do, you say, would you consider an offer on it? And they'll say yes or no. And then the conversation can go from there. This is barely a script, but I was just trying to paint the picture of how easy.
Right. I get what you're saying.
What would you recommend? What are some cold calling tips that you would recommend?
Yeah, typically, I say when you cold call, don't even ask, hi, is this David? I just say, hey, David, how you doing? And then what happens is they're automatically going to think like, this person knows me. I can't even lie and say this is not me. And if it ain't them, then they'll say, hey, man, you got the wrong person. I don't know who you're talking about. It'd be a little more sincere. And we typically use that script when we call. We find it to be a lot more effective. Yeah, and then they say, "Hi, Dave, how you doing?" I know you probably wonder why I'm calling you out the blue. Yeah, but I just trying to call and talk about that property you got over there on 123 Main Street to see what you plan on doing with it. I see it sitting, and I'm looking to buy another house or two in the next few weeks, and I'm definitely interested in buying a house. And we're very nonchalant, we're very straight to the point, and we, crack a joke here and there. And that typically gets us a lot of, even yes or no's, but it actually gets us deeper into the rapport process.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that. So it's so crazy. How did you come up with that script? Because that literally sounds like exactly what I used to use for my sales calls, and I sold men's custom clothing. But that's like, you would literally say, hey Joe, it's Elise. And then they'd be like, oh, hey Elise, we've never. And I'll be like, don't worry, I know this is so random, you don't know me. And then it's like pause. And then they don't, it's like awkward, but like it was always told to me in sales school, like the slower you go, the more like casual it is. And like, they don't feel like it's such a script.
Right.
So I'm so glad, that makes me feel good that there's someone else doing that and it works for them, because it was a lot easier to do.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of, when I first started in real estate investing, we had a bunch of scripts like given to us. Everybody got their own perspective on what is the right script. And we just took all the scripts and then we just combined it to what we thought was the right script. And that's how we ended up with that type of script.
I love it.
Love it. And then do you ever buy deals virtually, Antoine?
Yeah.
Do you ever make an offer on a deal, like a property, without ever seeing it?
Yeah, our business model is based on sight unseen offers. So we lock up everything over the phone. We rarely go to the houses. We don't have that many boots on the ground. We use a service called bpophotoflow.com.
What was that again?
bpophotoflow.com. It's a service. Basically you pay like $29 and they go out and take like 50 pictures for you and send it back to you the same day. And we do it like a handoff method. Let me talk to my finance manager to see what we can offer you. Then someone else from the office call them. Yeah, this is the finance manager. I got your file right here on my desk. I just want to ask you a few more questions. You got about 5-10 minutes that we can talk. And they say, yeah, they go through the script some more. They try to get some more pain points out. And then we shoot our shot with our offer.
Dang, I love that.
That's awesome, man. Well, and this brings me to the end of the list, because it's really that simple. You've got to get enough of these properties in there, and you've got to reach out enough times. And for us, we always say the minimum you should expect to do while you're driving for dollars is 200. You need to aim for 200 properties in that system that look run down at a minimum. And then you need to reach out to everyone at least 3 times over the course of a month or 2.
I agree.
And then also, if you hit 200, don't just wait. Keep going, because then you're going to front load the work for the next deal that's going to come. And I hear a lot of times people they sit and wait because they thought they did it.
I agree. Yeah, so that's like building a pipeline. So I teach people, like, don't just be a deal by deal wholesaler. Focus on building a pipeline. Focus on getting as many deals under contract as possible. And with most of these leads coming in, they usually like problematic leads. They got title issues. So just focus on getting a bunch of them, because they're all not going to close at the same time.
For sure. Is there a way that we could see if anyone has any questions that we can answer?
Someone asked, I'm looking at it on YouTube. Someone asked, where do you access this 10-step process?
Okay. Well, that's a great question. And let me get that link for you. Do we have the ability to post a link back to them?
I gotta, just post it and I'll copy it and text it in the comments.
Okay.
So I'm literally working off my phone while.
Oh, wow. Okay. Love it. I'm chatting it to you.
Okay.
Via Zoom. But the URL is also shared on the screen, guys. So if you can see that, you can go to it on your computer.
Yeah, guys. So if you have any questions, anybody out there is even on Zoom or YouTube, definitely drop your questions while we got Dave. We probably stay on for like 1 or 2 more minutes. I definitely want to be real cautious of his time. We don't want to be on all night. Drop your questions, and he'll try his best to answer your questions.
I guarantee you, we can answer it.
Yeah, I know.
Elise, were you watching Gilmore Girls? I noticed you're wearing the t-shirt today.
Oh my gosh, I actually was. I put it on again. I put it on in the background because I'm making those masks, those surgical masks. So
You're the second person I heard making a mask from scratch.
Well, so my background's, I'm a fashion and merchandising major. So I have all this extra fabric that I've never had anything to do with. And I don't sew that much, but yeah, I found I have friends that are in the health service, and I just thought, well, this is a better time than any to bring out these fashion fabrics and make some masks.
Right. Awesome. Someone asked, anyone familiar with the LA market? I'm not familiar with the LA market, but
not super familiar. I know it's absolutely competitive as all get out. I know that most of our members that are in the LA market, actually most of California, if they're doing mail marketing, you got to send like 2-3 times more than the regular person.
Yeah. So the mail, I mean, the cost per lead in markets like that is always higher, but so is the profits.
For sure.
Yeah, I heard like it's six-figure assignments like it's nothing out there. Like they do that all the time.
Oh yeah, and
that's all up and down the West Coast.
Everyone always feels like their market's flooded with wholesalers, no matter where you are. So I always love it when we've got a member that's got a deal in Seattle, or one of those markets like that, because it just shows you that it's not too saturated, and most of the wholesalers that you see, they aren't probably following up properly, or they're probably not adding enough properties.
I was about to say they're sitting on the 200 properties and not adding any more. And that's
someone on YouTube asked, thanks for the link. Another question I had, was there a way to highlight the street to see all the absentee owners? Haven't found out how to do that yet.
Yeah. Well, in Google Maps, you can't, but in Deal Machine, you can. So I wanted to show that now that we're in Deal Machine. We can click on the map icon over there, click on highlight properties, and then you can select 4 criteria. Absentee owner is going to be by default. And then now all those properties are going to highlight green. And you can do that on your smartphone as well. Same button, same place.
Nice. Any more questions, guys, before we go? And ladies, before we go? Hey, this is an awesome video. This is going to stay up on my YouTube. I'm going to send you the link to it. So that way, if you want to pull it down to kind of like use it for whatever you want to use it, that's cool with me.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Just because I know for a fact, people, you send out the link to the Zoom, and, oh, where's the link? And they text you an hour later. Go watch it on YouTube. We're not putting up a replay. So that's how I like to do things. I just want to make sure. Okay, she said thanks, man. Well, he said thanks. I don't know. I can't see. But yeah, I think that's it. I want to thank you guys. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just really wanted to show everybody, driving for dollars is possible without driving for dollars. And now for me, I learned something new tonight, that I can actually focus on finding good pockets and neighborhoods in Toledo, Ohio, that I can market to. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing it. Now I know how to download the Chrome extension. I know how to actually properly use the software. And once I do it a few times, then I relinquish that over to a VA. But I definitely want to do it on my own first to make sure I got it down pat.
That's awesome. I'm so glad we could help.
Yeah, and thanks.
I can't wait to be your success story and show you, hey man, I closed this $250,000 apartment deal because of you guys. So yeah.
That's great.
So I can't wait. So if there's anything you ever need, let me know. If you need any advice about what I do, let me know. If you know any of your clients that need any help, let me know. I'm here to help. So I appreciate you guys. And I'll be seeing you in about a month or 2 once we figure out the date for the DRIP event.
The DRIP conference.
Yes.
Well, and I would love to have you on one of our lives sometime. So now I know we were doing lives before COVID-19, but now we are doing them daily. And I'd love to have you come on sometime.
Definitely. Let me me know whenever you want me to. Hey, I'm available.
I'm gonna have David give me your number so then I can
Cool.
I can
You
text
got
you.
my cell. Just text me and we'll figure out a date. And
Good
I'm
idea,
very
Elise.
flexible.
Oh, good! Yay!
I'm very flexible, so I can't wait till we figure out this whole after coronavirus stuff so we can get back to the business.
Yeah, way to take advantage of the time that we have. I feel like getting caught up in the uncertainty is not helpful. Retreating and stopping your marketing is not helpful. It's going to snap back.
I told people early on my Facebook, listen, since you're stuck in the house, you shouldn't be spending a lot of money on takeout. You shouldn't be spending a lot of money on things that's stupid, right? Take that money and go buy you a VA and double down on your marketing. Take that money, buy you some extra deal machine credits, double down on your postcards. Invest in yourself, because at the end of the day, when it's all in, you should have a bunch of sellers that's ready to move forward, or should have deals in escrow where, it's going to rain money in a few months for you.
100%.
I love that.
Man, so appreciate you guys. I didn't want to hold you up too long. I literally I just rent this hotel room just to do this interview. About to hop in the truck, head home, spend time with my family. Got 2 hours.
That's awesome.
Drive
safe.
You guys. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, this is gonna be on YouTube. If you need it, download it. I don't care. And I'll be talking to you soon. Just let me know what day you want me to come on the live.
Yay!
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next week, catch me. I'll be bringing on my guy Burton from Propstream. We're going to be showing you some awesome ways how to stack your leads and lists inside Propstream, the new filters they got. We're going to be having this way that we can show you how to get probate leads after the probate is done. So stay tuned next Thursday, 8 p.m. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. I'll bring you an awesome webinar. Appreciate you. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Antoine.
No, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.